Thank you. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, we thank Him for all of His prophets and the scriptures which they brought. I am a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I can never thank Allah enough for him and God's intervention in our affairs. In the person of Master Muhammad, the great Mahdi, who came among us and raised the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for us. I greet all of you, my brothers, my sisters, with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language.
That's the lady. Those kids, you can't tell them ladies to get back. It's okay.
I gotta come back a little more. Let me tell you, brothers and sisters, how happy I am to be back home in New York. I was born here in the Bronx.
What?
At Morris Senior Hospital. And I used to live as a little boy right around the corner on Union Avenue near 163rd Street.
That's what he said.
I'm happy to be home. I thank you for honoring me with your presence. Thank you, and I thank all of the leaders who are here, the police, the chief, the assemblyman, the Zulu Nation, and any of the 5% nation here. All right. Got to talk to the gods. I'm very, very thankful to Allah. I know as the sun is going down, there's a few things that I would like to say. We're living in a very serious time in American history and in our history. Because we have voted a black brother into office, we pray that God will grant him through us and many of the American people a second term.
I don't know, man.
Sometimes,
I'm trying to maintain, man.
when a man has one term and he didn't do all the things that we would have liked him to do, sometimes when you give him a second term and he knows he's not going to be back anymore, then he can stretch out. But let me tell you this. We would be mistaken if we voted him in thinking that he was going to champion a black agenda or a brown agenda. That is not fair to him or to yourself, because he's been elected to look over white folks' affairs that we happen to be a part of. That's great. So if you think that he should do for us what we have the ability to do for ourselves, then we will be unjust to him. He's not the black leader. He's the American leader. We want him to pay more attention to the black side of the equation, all right. But if he does or does not, our job is to unite and do for ourselves what we've been asking others to do for us. Now, many of my young brothers and sisters who are here, you know, we're being socially engineered into behavior that is destructive to ourselves, to each other, and to our communities. We are behaving today worse than we ever did during the darkest days of slavery. When we were in slavery, we never killed each other like we're doing today. And it's so easy for us now to kill one another because our hearts have become like stone. And the Bible says we are hard-hearted, stiff-necked, and rebellious. So when it becomes easy for us to kill one another, how much easier is it for those who have been killing us all along to continue to kill us and justify it by the way we treat one another? So there was a 7-year-old girl in Chicago. It was a hot day, and that young girl was under a tent in front of her house making lemonade to make a little money for herself and her family. And a drive-by took place, and brothers were aiming at one another, and that 7-year-old girl got in the way. She's dead. And it grieved me so. One of the members of the FOI said to me, you know, we gave the mother a basket of fruit. When he said that, I was disgusted. And I said, brother, it would have been better if the FOI were out in the street. Maybe that child would be alive today. When the nation was strong, we didn't have all this madness in the street. We've always had gang conflict, but not like it is today. So I decided, I'm going out in the street. And I'm going to see about our people. And I started in Chicago. I meet with the police and with the political leaders because I don't want to bring 400 or 500 men into a part of town where they might think we're an invading army or something. So I wanted them to know what our intention was. And I wanted to know the hottest spots in each ward in the city where the violence was greatest, where the murder was greatest, and then that's where we would go. And you know what? Everywhere we went, we found even the toughest of our people, they just do it. They just need to know that somebody cares. Sometimes if we're in politics, we come around when it's time to get a vote. Sometimes if we're a minister or pastor or email, we come around once in a while. But what do we really do to affect change? So I decided, and we decided, we're going to stay in the street because who needs to be in the mosque? When the problem is not necessarily in the mosque, it's in the street. To our pastors, we don't need to be in the church. Everybody in the church say they're saved. We need to be where our people are in pain, where they're suffering, and that's where Jesus was. He never built a church. His church was the highways and the byways, and he was out there with the people. So we met with about 300 pastors in Chicago, And we said, Reverend, you got to come out of the church. We got to come out of the mosque. The Hebrew got to come out of the synagogue. The 5% nation, the nationalists, whatever we are doing, we got to get out in the street where our people are. I have not met one brother or sister from the 5% nation who is not armed with enough knowledge to change the reality out here where we are. I have never met a real Christian pastor who knows that Bible, who couldn't come out and do for our people what needs to be done. Look at these brothers around me. Look in their faces. Look at the clean look that they have. These ain't no choir boys. I mean, I was a choir boy. I can't tell no lie. I was in the choir in the Episcopalian church. But my love has always been for us, for black people. But the brothers that are with me, they're just like you. Some came out of prison. Yes. Some came out of the crack house. Some used heroin. Some were pimps. Some were, some were hustlers. Some of the sisters used to prostitute. Others came out of college. But no matter where we came from, we have a similar problem. And no matter where they came from, we didn't condemn them for what they were. We talked to them about what they could become. Listen to what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us. He said, brother, I'm like a piece of junk that Farad Muhammad took off the junk pile and polished me up and put me back on the junk pile to show the rest of the pieces of junk that you can shine too. We are you and you are we. You can be greater than what you are, but you got to believe that yourself. Now we know that they don't tell us how great we really are. So I don't have a lot of time, so in the few minutes that I'm going to be here, let me tell you something about you that we were taught. Oh, and by the way, let me say this. You know this man Farad Muhammad? He's an Arab from a black father and a white mother. He came to North America to raise the black man of America up. He found a black man from among us from Georgia who was named Elijah Poole, who only went to the 4th grade of school. Check this out now. He took that man and worked with him for 3 years and 4 months and then left